Liv Morgan has just gone down with a major injury, so we'll see what's going on there. We'll also check out what's going on with Roxanne Perez, the Judgment Day, and more. Starting things off with the heartbreaking news with the entire Liv Morgan situation. Liv Morgan opened up Raw with Dominik Mysterio. Liv bragged about what she did to Nikki Bella and how Nikki was at home after getting taken out by her last week. Liv also mocked Sky for saying that Nikki Bella paved the way for them. Liv Morgan went on to brag about her career stats and also mentioned that she wanted her women's world title rematch that she never received after losing the title earlier this year. Sky did come out to confront Liv Morgan, but told her that she has to earn her title match and how she can't steal the title. That segment ended with Sky dropping both Dominik and Liv Morgan. A very solid segment that looked like it was hinting at the idea of Liv Morgan coming after the women's world title. It was nice to see some action and drama around the women's world title again, because it feels like not much has been happening with the title since Sky retained it at WrestleMania. So it was nice to see some sort of feud teased for the world title again. But as part of Liv's journey to earn a new world title opportunity, she had a match later that night against Kairi Sane. Liv Morgan is seen backstage in the Judgment Day's locker room, and she goes up to Raquel to talk strategy for Liv's match with Kairi Sane. But Raquel is still banged up from her own match and says she can't help Liv. So Liv storms out of the room, but with Raquel being temporarily out of the picture as she recovered from her match, Finn tells Roxanne that despite Liv saying she was going to handle things herself, he had a plan for how they can help Liv. Later that night, Finn and Roxanne walked off screen to discuss the plan for how they intended on helping Liv during the match with Kairi Sane. But then it was time for the match between Liv Morgan and Kairi Sane itself, and this is the moment where everything got flipped on its head. It was barely a few moments into the match when Liv suddenly fell a bit awkwardly down on the mat. Liv rolled over to the barricade outside the ring, was checked by doctors, and it was ultimately revealed that Liv Morgan could not continue due to an injury she had suffered, and Kairi Sane was declared the winner. Liv Morgan walked up the ramp slowly and gently, holding her arm still as the doctors walked her to the back. The first question that came to everyone's mind when this happened was wondering if it was real or part of the storyline. Well, it turns out that it was 100% real. This was a legitimate injury suffered by Liv Morgan during the match, and the match had to be tossed on the spot. What's also a very big sign that this was a real injury was all of the original plans that they had to scrap because of this injury. Remember earlier in the night, Liv Morgan noted how Nikki Bella was at home after Liv attacked her the week before, but the truth was that Nikki Bella was backstage at Raw. And Nikki even said herself that she would be appearing on the June 16th edition of Raw. So what happened, and why didn't Nikki Bella appear on the show? Well, it looks like Nikki Bella would have made a run-in during Liv's match with Kairi to get proper revenge on Liv and cost her the match against Kairi, which would have been perfect revenge for Nikki to get on Liv Morgan, considering how Liv took Nikki out the week before. It would have given Nikki a nice lick-back moment and continue to build the feud up for their big program at the Evolution event. But with Liv Morgan going down early in the match, obviously they had no choice but to scrap the full surprise appearance from Nikki Bella to get payback on Liv Morgan. What was also affected by Liv Morgan's injury was the narrative of Finn's plan with Roxanne. In the Judgment Day's backstage segment, Finn privately spoke with Roxanne Perez about a secret way to help Liv in that match against Kairi, but we never had the chance to see what Finn and Roxanne's involvement was in the match since the injury called the match off early. So if Liv never goes down, it looks like outside interference would have been seen from both Roxanne Perez and Nikki Bella, and considering Liv's trend of being on a losing streak, it looks like the original plan would have been Roxanne trying to help Liv, but the plan would have gone wrong and Nikki Bella would have ended up getting the last laugh here as she made sure that Liv lost the match. So that would have been everything seen during that match, but obviously it had to all be canceled because of this real injury. Michael Cole later announced that Liv Morgan had suffered a dislocated right shoulder injury, which is a very serious shoulder injury that has an average recovery time of 3 to 4 months, which is a real gut punch to potentially lose Liv Morgan until the end of September. That's a nightmare scenario because Liv Morgan is such a crucial part to Monday Night Raw. If Liv Morgan has to be up and out of television for several months, just look at all of the storylines that would be affected. Firstly, you have the Women's Tag Team Championships. Liv is one of the Tag Team Champions, so if she has to leave, that means Raquel has to give up those titles or find a replacement for Liv Morgan. Then, the entire Judgment Day storyline would have to be put on pause. Their main story right now is how Finn is orchestrating this plan to ruin Liv Morgan and Dominik Mysterio's lives. Finn is using Roxanne to just cause havoc and execute his plan to make life awful for Liv Morgan. But if Liv Morgan is off television, what happens to that big narrative? It would have to be dropped and altered in a dramatic way. And obviously you have the relationship with Liv Morgan and Dominik. If Liv is gone, another big pivot would have to be made to the entire love triangle amongst Roxanne, Liv, and Dominik. Liv would be out of the picture, meaning that everything there that was planned with Roxanne would have to be completely changed, and obviously it's a huge blow to Nikki Bella's return as well. They put Nikki Bella into a big program with Liv Morgan for the Evolution event, but with Liv Morgan potentially no longer available for that feud, a new match would have to be found for Nikki Bella's return. It really hurts to see as a fan, and obviously if you're Liv Morgan, you're gutted as well about the whole thing. You are a centerpiece of Raw, you're a champion, you have all these different stories revolving around you, and now you're going to miss time and miss these opportunities that you worked your whole career for. It's such a big blow. One thing fans are already wondering about is if Liv Morgan could at least remain on screen as a character in a non-physical role. Maybe she can't wrestle for a few months, but if she sticks around on screen, maybe that'll lessen the blow and she could still push some of her storylines forward. As far as the main storyline pivot goes for filling in Liv's role, fans feel like they don't have to look that far. Roxanne Perez could fill every spot for Liv Morgan. Raquel needs a new tag team partner in order not to be stripped of the tag team titles. Well, Roxanne Perez is right there. Roxanne can offer to defend the women's tag team titles with Raquel and keep them warm until Liv Morgan returns. Nikki Bella needs an Evolution opponent. Well, you have Roxanne Perez right there. Roxanne grew up watching Nikki Bella and was a big fan of that era of women's wrestling. Surely there's a narrative to be pulled from there and start something up. And maybe Finn Balor can't keep his plan for Liv Morgan going with her on the sidelines, but maybe Finn can push Roxanne into these positions to fill in for Liv Morgan. Maybe that'll be just as effective as his original plan. So it's a major blow and a big loss, and we'll have to see how they adjust to this injury, but it most definitely is a legitimate one.
But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.